Chosen one, stop scrolling. This is not motivation. This is a reminder sent straight to your spirit. God said remember when they laughed, doubted, and decided your story was over before it even began. Remember the silence. Remember the rejection. Remember how invisible you felt. That moment was not your ending. That moment was your selection. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear was hidden from most, but reserved for you. They judged the seed, not the destiny. They looked at you when you were still becoming. They judged your quiet seasons, not knowing silence was where God trained you. They called you weak because they couldn't see the strength forming in the unseen. Chosen ones are always misunderstood before they are recognized. What they wrote off, heaven was writing into prophecy. The pain was never punishment. You questioned why life felt heavier for you than for others. Why betrayal followed you, even when your heart was pure. Why isolation felt forced, like you were being pulled away from everyone. That pain was not punishment, it was preparation. God isolates what He intends to elevate. Spiritual awakening feels like losing everything. Awakening doesn't feel magical at first. It feels like confusion, exhaustion, and emotional shedding. You outgrow conversations. You outgrow people. You outgrow old versions of yourself. This is why they couldn't go with you. You weren't rejected, you were redirected. Why society tries to silence the chosen. Chosen ones don't fit systems built on fear and control. Your energy exposes lies without you saying a word. Your presence disrupts comfort zones and false identities. That's why they tried to label you, shame you, or break your confidence. Light always threatens darkness before it transforms it. God saw you when no one else did. When you cried in private, heaven was watching. When you kept going with no applause, God was counting every step. When they turned their backs, God stood closer than ever. You were never abandoned, you were being aligned. What's divine doesn't need approval. The comeback they never prepared for. Now your energy is different, your eyes see clearer, your spirit feels heavier with truth. You're not chasing validation anymore, you're walking in knowing. The same ones who doubted will be confused by your peace. Your rise will be quiet but undeniable. God doesn't announce His moves, He reveals them through results. You were chosen because you survived what broke others. Others would have quit where you kept praying. Others would have hardened where you stayed soft. Others would have conformed where you stayed authentic. That's why the calling stayed on you. He doesn't choose the perfect, He perfects the chosen. This is your reminder and your activation. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop explaining your purpose to people committed to misunderstanding you. Your awakening is not arrogance, it's obedience. Step fully into who God revealed you to be. If this message reached you, it was not by accident. They tried to define you by your lowest moment. They froze their perception of you at your worst season. They never updated the image, never checked if you had grown. They spoke about who you were, not who you were becoming. But God never consults public opinion before elevating someone. He consults the heart. The weight you carried was not normal. You carried emotional weight others couldn't feel. You sensed shifts before they happened. You felt energies change when rooms stayed silent. That wasn't sensitivity, that was spiritual awareness. Chosen one are built with deeper perception for higher assignments. Isolation was a divine strategy. There were seasons where nobody called, where support disappeared overnight, where you had to become your own encouragement. That isolation was not loneliness. It was God removing noise so you could hear Him clearly. Why your spirit never fit in. You tried to belong, but something always felt off. The jokes felt empty, The goals felt shallow. You wanted meaning, while others wanted distraction. That discomfort was your soul rejecting a smaller reality. Chosen ones are wired for depth in a surface-level world. They mocked what they couldn't understand. They called your faith delusion, your intuition imagination, your boundaries arrogance. People mock what exposes their limitations. Your existence reminded them of what they ignored within themselves. The silent training nobody saw. While others were celebrating, you were breaking internally. While others were sleeping, you were questioning life itself. You were being trained in endurance, discernment, and restraint. God trains his strongest soldiers in silence. Public victories are born from private battles. Your delay was actually divine timing. You thought you were behind. You thought life skipped you. You thought everyone else moved ahead faster. But delay protects what's sacred. God never rushes what carries generational impact. Why betrayal followed you repeatedly? Not everyone around you was meant to go with you. Some were sent to reveal character, not companionship. Betrayal sharpened your discernment. It taught you to trust God more than humans. Chosen ones learn early that loyalty is rare. Your heart stayed soft for a reason. You could have become cold. You had every excuse to shut down emotionally. Yet compassion stayed alive in you. That softness is not weakness. It's proof that darkness didn't win. They felt threatened by your growth. The moment you started healing, energy shifted. Conversations changed, support faded. Your growth made others uncomfortable with their stagnation. Not everyone claps when you rise. Some feel exposed by your progress. God allowed them to leave. You begged for certain people to stay. You prayed for connections to work. But God removed what couldn't survive your next level. He protects destiny by pruning attachments. What left had an expiration date anyway. The awakening changed your desires. You don't crave noise anymore. You don't chase approval. You value peace over popularity. This is a sign of elevation. When the soul awakens, distractions lose power. You're no longer accessible to low frequencies. Drama drains you now. Surface talk exhausts you. Negative energy feels heavy. That's because your frequency has risen. What once entertained you can no longer reach you. They will remember how they treated you. When God lifts you, memory awakens in others. They will recall the jokes, the distance, the disrespect. Your silence will speak louder than explanations. Vindication doesn't require revenge. God handles reputation better than you ever could. You were being watched the whole time. Heaven never took its eyes off you. Every tear was recorded. Every sacrifice counted. Every moment you chose integrity over impulse mattered. God doesn't miss obedience done in secret. This season feels different for a reason. Your intuition is sharper. Your patience is stronger. Your confidence is quieter but unshakable. This is not coincidence. This is alignment before elevation. You stopped explaining yourself. You realized not everyone deserves access to your story. You learned that clarity is wasted on closed minds. Silence became your protection, not your weakness. When God is about to move you, he teaches you restraint. Chosen ones speak less and observe more. Your energy became your language. You don't announce growth anymore. People feel it when you enter a room. Your calm unsettles chaos. Your presence exposes intentions without confrontation. Light doesn't argue, it reveals. They sense something is about to change. Even those who ignored you feel it now. The shift is uncomfortable for them. They can't explain why your name keeps crossing their mind. When God prepares elevation, awareness spreads before the announcement. Spirits recognize what mouths deny. The old version of you is gone. You can't go back, even if you wanted to. Your soul rejects what once tolerated pain. You've outgrown survival mode. This is no longer about healing wounds. This is about stepping into authority. Why peace became your priority. You used to fight to be understood. Now you protect your inner stillness. You walk away without guilt. Peace is expensive, and you paid for it with growth. Chosen ones guard what cost them their old self. God is rewriting the narrative. The story they told about you is expiring. The labels no longer stick. Your actions speak louder than rumors ever did. God changes stories by changing seasons. And your season just shifted. The quiet confidence was earned. You don't need to prove anything. You know what you survived. You know who brought you through it. That confidence isn't loud. It's anchored. Your discernment became sharp. You feel truth before words are spoken. You sense misalignment instantly. Your spirit no longer ignores red flags. Discernment is a spiritual muscle. Yours was strengthened through pain. They notice you don't chase anymore. You stop chasing friendships. You stop chasing validation. You stop chasing approval. What's meant for you now comes toward you. Alignment attracts without effort. God is trusting you with more. More responsibility. More influence. More impact. Before God increases visibility, He increases capacity. You passed tests you didn't even know were exams. The loneliness taught you leadership. You learned how to stand alone without breaking. You learned how to move without applause. You learned how to listen inwardly. Leaders are born in solitude. Crowds come later. Your voice carries weight now. When you speak, it lands differently. People listen without knowing why. Your words activate something in others. That's not charisma. That's anointing. You're no longer afraid of being seen. You once hid to stay safe. Now you trust who you've become. Exposure doesn't scare you anymore. God doesn't reveal what isn't ready. And you are ready. The tests became subtler. The battles aren't loud anymore. They come as distractions, not disasters. Comfort tries to replace calling. Chosen ones are tested when life gets easy. Discernment keeps you aligned. You learn the difference between love and attachment. You stopped confusing attention with connection. You release people without hatred. You learned that love doesn't require self-betrayal. Detachment brought clarity. Clarity brought peace. God hid you while He healed you. Some seasons were quiet on purpose. Visibility would have broken what wasn't ready. God covers His vessels before displaying them. Hidden seasons protect the anointing. You weren't delayed, you were preserved. Your spirit outgrew old agreements. You no longer tolerate what drains you. You renegotiated access to your energy. Boundaries became non-negotiable. This isn't selfishness. This is stewardship of the soul. They tried to pull you back. When they felt you slipping beyond reach, they reached out. Old connections resurfaced unexpectedly. Nostalgia tried to soften discernment. But you saw clearly this time. Growth doesn't move backward. Why you're calm in chaos? What once triggered you no longer controls you. You respond instead of react. Your nervous system healed alongside your spirit. Peace became your default setting. That calm is spiritual maturity. Your faith became personal. You stopped borrowing beliefs. You questioned, wrestled, and found truth yourself. Your relationship with God deepened privately. This wasn't rebellion. This was intimacy. They can't use you anymore. Manipulation doesn't work like it used to. Guilt no longer controls you. You recognize emotional traps instantly. Awakened people are hard to control. That's why growth intimidates others. You don't rush answers anymore. You trust divine timing now. You've seen how patience protects outcomes. Silence no longer scares you. Waiting sharpened your trust. Faith matured in the pauses. Your identity is no longer negotiable. You know who you are without applause. You don't shrink to be accepted. You don't perform to be loved. Your worth is settled internally. That's unshakable power. God is positioning you strategically. New environments feel unfamiliar but aligned. Old surroundings feel smaller. You're being placed, not lost. Destiny requires relocation, sometimes mentally, sometimes physically. Positioning precedes purpose. The resistance means you're close. Pressure increases before breakthroughs. Opposition intensifies before elevation. That tension isn't random. It's confirmation. You don't fight what isn't a threat. Your name is being mentioned in rooms you've never entered. Opportunities are forming quietly. Doors are aligning behind the scenes. God moves without announcing himself. You'll arrive already prepared. Grace goes ahead of the chosen. You stop taking things personally. You realized reactions reveal others, not you. Criticism lost its sting. Praise no longer intoxicates you. Emotional balance became your strength. Detachment brought freedom. Your compassion became selective. You still care deeply, but you no longer pour into empty vessels. You learn the difference between helping and enabling. Wisdom now guides your kindness. That balance protects your energy. They feel the distance but can't explain it. You didn't announce your growth. You didn't make a scene. You simply moved differently. Distance happened naturally. Alignment doesn't argue, it separates. God is strengthening your spine. You stand firm without aggression. You say no without apology. You hold your ground calmly. Spiritual authority doesn't shout. It's felt. Your intuition speaks louder than fear. You no longer second-guess what you feel. You trust the quiet warnings. You act before chaos forms. Intuition is God's whisper. Fear is the mind's noise. You're no longer impressed by appearances. Titles don't move you. Status doesn't intimidate you. You see essence, not image. Awakened eyes read beyond masks. Truth recognizes truth. The temptation to settle lost its power. You refuse to choose comfort over calling. Shortcuts no longer attract you. You'd rather wait than compromise. Patience refined your standards. You know what you carry. Your presence is felt even in silence. You don't need to dominate rooms. Your energy speaks before words do. People feel safe or exposed around you. Light creates reaction. That's not your responsibility to manage. They're watching how you move now. Your consistency confused them. Your calm unsettled them. You didn't crash like they expected. Grace held you together. Stability is proof of growth. God is teaching you when to speak. Not every truth needs an audience. Not every battle needs engagement. Silence became strategic. Wisdom chooses timing. Power waits. You're becoming harder to replace. Authenticity can't be duplicated. Depth can't be faked. Your journey shaped something rare. God doesn't mass-produce purpose. You are intentional design. Your patience is about to pay off. What you waited for is aligning. What you trusted for is forming. Movement is happening quietly. God finishes what He starts. Completion is near. You no longer need closure. You stopped waiting for apologies. You stopped needing explanations. Understanding became internal. Freedom came when you released the need for answers. Healing doesn't require permission. Your focus became sharper. Distractions don't hold you like they used to. You recognize time wasters instantly. Your mind stays anchored on purpose. Clarity simplified your decisions. Simplicity strengthened your power. They can't trigger you anymore. Buttons that once worked are inactive now. Old tactics fail. Emotional hooks fall flat. Healing closed those access points. Self-mastery is evident. God is refining your desires. What you want is changing. Your prayers sound different. You ask for alignment, not escape. Desire matures with wisdom. You're asking for what lasts. You're learning to receive without guilt. You no longer self-sabotage blessings. You stopped feeling unworthy of ease. Receiving became natural. Abundance flows where resistance ends. You finally allowed grace in. Your awareness expanded beyond survival. You're thinking long-term now. Generational impact matters. Legacy replaced urgency. You're building, not scrambling. Vision widened your horizon. They do recognize you at first. Your evolution is subtle but deep. Old narratives no longer apply. They speak to who you were. You respond from who you are. Growth changes identity quietly. God is teaching you to lead gently. Authority doesn't require force. Influence grows through integrity. You lead by example. Your life speaks louder than commands. That's kingdom leadership. You're comfortable being misunderstood. You stopped correcting assumptions. Truth will reveal itself in time. Misunderstanding no longer agitates you. Peace matters more than perception. Maturity chose stillness. Your faith outlasted the storm. You doubted, but you didn't quit. You questioned, but you stayed. Your belief deepened through struggle. Faith proven in fire becomes unbreakable. You stand stronger now. God is trusting you with influence. People listen without you trying. Your story activates others. Your presence invites reflection. Influence is stewardship, not spotlight. You're handling it well. Something is about to shift publicly. What was hidden is nearing revelation. The quiet work is ending. Visibility is approaching. God reveals at the right moment. Timing is aligning. You stopped fighting old battles. You realize some wars end when you walk away. Energy is precious now. You choose growth over grudges. Peace became your victory. Maturity knows when not to engage. Your inner voice is clearer than ever. Confusion lifted gradually. The noise faded. Direction feels natural now. Alignment sharpened your intuition. You trust yourself again. They feel your absence more than your presence. You didn't disappear loudly. You simply stopped being available. Your absence revealed your value. Energy is noticed when it's gone. Boundaries teach respect. God is strengthening your foundations. Before expansion comes reinforcement. Roots deepen before branches spread. Stability matters more than speed. God builds what will last. You're being fortified. You no longer seek approval. Validation lost its control. You act from conviction. External opinions hold less weight. Freedom followed self-acceptance. Confidence settled quietly. Your life feels intentionally designed. Nothing feels random anymore. Even detours make sense. Pattern replaced chaos. Purpose organizes experiences. You see the design now. They tried to limit you with old labels. Names that once defined you no longer fit. You shed outdated identities. Growth outgrew their language. Labels fall when truth stands up. You're beyond definitions. God is preparing you for responsibility. Blessings carry weight. Influence demands wisdom. You're being trained to handle both. Capacity expands through discipline. You're ready for stewardship. You move with quiet authority. You don't need to announce strength. Presence communicates stability. People sense leadership naturally. Authority rooted in humility lasts. You embody it now. The need to prove yourself faded. You know who you are. Comparison lost its grip. Your path is your own. Contentment replaced competition. Authenticity became home. You're learning to trust the process. Uncertainty doesn't shake you like before. You've seen patterns repeat for your good. Patience deepens your faith. Process builds character. You honor the journey now. God is aligning you with the right people. Connections feel effortless. Conversations feel nourishing. Mutual growth replaces imbalance. Alignment recognizes alignment. Community is forming. Chosen one, if this message touched something deep inside you, don't ignore that feeling. Like this video right now to seal this confirmation in your spirit. Subscribe to Chosen Wave if you know you are not here by accident and your awakening is just beginning. Comment below and declare it boldly. They wrote me off, but God remembered me. And answer this. What season did they doubt you the most, and how do you feel God shifting your life right now?